welcome everybody to the January 9th convening of the City of Evanston Municipal Officers Electoral Board. This is a hearing, so for those of you that are used to coming to city council meetings and all of that, this is a hearing between objectors to a referendum and the petitioners of the referendum. There will be an opportunity for any kind of public comment. That'll be at the end, this evening. So first thing I'd like to do is just do a call to order. It looks like we've got everybody here, but why don't we just go down and each of you just introduce yourself and your position.
Devon Reed, the City Clerk, member of the Electoral Board.
I'm Ann Rainey, the Senior Alderman of the Evanston City Council.
All right, and I'm Steve Haggerty, the Mayor of the City of Evanston. So these are the three officials that are on the city's Electoral Board, and everyone is here. So let me go to the next item. I will be serving as the chairman of the Electoral Board for case 2020-MOEB-EV-1. This board has been called into session pursuant to my call after an objection was filed regarding the validity of the petitions for a public question for March 17th, 2020 general primary. By law, this board consists of myself, the city clerk, and the longest-serving Alderman Ann Rainey. This evening, the Evanston Law Department has been appointed as counsel to this board. The first order of business tonight is going to be the adoption of the rules for the Rules Committee. These are the same rules that we saw before the last time we convened, which I think was on the Harley-Clark referendum that this board convened. The Electoral Board rules were prepared by the Law Department and posted on the city's website. The rules designate the Corporation Counsel as attorney for the board. Let the record reflect also that we have with us today Special Counsel Daniel Bolin, who is to my left, who will be assisting the Corporation Counsel and the Law Department in these proceedings. These are standard rules similar to those used by other electoral boards throughout the state, including the State Board of Election. Does anyone have any questions or comments or motions regarding the rules, either the petitioner or the objectors? Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you then. Is there a motion then to adopt the rules?
I make a motion to adopt the rules.
Second. Okay. All in favor of the rules? Aye. Okay. So the rules pass on a 3-0 vote. Apparently, I needed to call a roll call vote on that. So Clerk Reed.
Aye.
Alderman Rainey?
Aye.
And Mayor Haggerty, aye. Okay. The rules are now adopted. We're now going to move on to case number 20-MOEB-EV-01. And I'm going to ask our counsel to take the proceedings from here and facilitate the discussion tonight.
Sure. Is anyone here present on behalf of the objector?
Yes.
Perfect. And is anyone here on behalf of the proponent?
Yes.
Very good.
I have my appearance form.
Oh, perfect. If you haven't complete, we have appearance forms for you. I'm sure your appearance form is fine. If you haven't completed an appearance form yet, please feel free to come get one and complete them. Council, have you served your appearance form on the other side? I would like the other side to have a copy of your appearance.
Oh, yeah.
Please complete an appearance form and make sure you exchange it with the other side, a copy. Ask the parties to note that the board has arranged to have these proceedings recorded by a court reporter. Please only speak one at a time and speak clearly so we can make a clean record. The board will continue this practice during the board's hearing hours, but not during any record check that may be conducted. The board does not plan to have a transcript prepared unless the board needs a transcript for a particular purpose. Should a party be dissatisfied with the board's decision, a complete record will be furnished to the circuit court at the board's expense, but subject to any limitations as may be provided by the Administrative Review Act. The court reporter's transcript will be the minutes of the Electoral Board's meeting if needed. I will be maintaining the official record of the board. Of any pleadings, motions, and similar documents must be served as provided in the rules. And on me, I will give both sides of my card. By email services preferred and required due to the expedited nature of these proceedings. I would ask the board to enter the following exhibits into the record. The Exhibit 1 will be the Electoral Board rules. Exhibit 2 will be the call of the meeting for the case. Exhibit 3, do we have any returns or waivers of service of the call?
I'm not aware of any.
That will be Exhibit 3. We'll add those as the case goes on. Exhibit 4 will be the agenda. Thank you very much. Exhibit 5 will be the original public question petitions, and Exhibit 6 will be the original objectors' petitions. Are there any questions regarding these documents?
I did have one question. The objection that was included on the city's website is in the packet did not attach the copy of the petition that was originally filed as an attachment. So I just want to make sure that the record's clear that our objection did in fact attach the first page of the petition as an exhibit.
And I'll note for the record that when I received it via certified mail, it had your objection and it had all of a copy of all the petitions. Yep.
Right, thank you.
Clerk, is that, you have the original?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, can I look at it? So these are, so these are the original petitions. Do we have the original objector's petition?
I do. That was sent to me. That was basically this whole packet.
Oh, I see.
Let's see, I got that call, and this was and Clerk Reed said this was the
Yeah, that's the objective.
original, with the original signatures.
Oh, and then page 1 of the petition sheets.
And then
was it-
page 1 of the
Was
petition
attached.
sheets, and then they attached also all the others that they
The
sent.
objection refers to the attachment, which is page 1 of the petitions.
Got it.
Could we see the objection?
Yeah. Do we have the original objection?
Yes, that's what I'm holding
I
right
have
here.
copies.
Yeah.
Alan?
Do we have the original that was filed, though? This was the copy that was served on you?
This,
Two other copies.
this is what they certified mailed me, and it looks like it has, I can't tell if this is a copy, or I think these are the original signatures. That was what Clerk Reed said.
The original should have been sent to you, so I believe that is the original.
That
I'm
was served
holding
on
the
you.
original
You
right
are
here
holding
that
the
I was
original,
served.
of course.
Yep.
But are there two other copies?
The clerk's office does have, the other copies went to the board members and out to you guys. And I think
And
over.
then we have, the objector has copies of that, and you're welcome to see the original if you just want to confirm that that's the same.
Or were there two copies of the objection filed at the time of filing the objection?
Yes, the clerk's office is mandated to accept only the requisite number of objectors' petitions, and we accepted that.
Any other questions about the exhibits?
Am I supposed to fill out a call form?
An appearance form?
Yeah.
Your attorney filled out for you.
It suffices.
Okay, fair enough. Unless there's any other questions about the exhibits, I would encourage the board to ask for a motion to enter these in the
Make a
record.
motion to enter all of the exhibits.
Is there a second?
Second.
And we're going to do a quick roll call, just assuming that's what we have to do. Clerk Reed?
Aye.
Alderman Rainey?
Aye.
Mayor Haggerty, aye. Okay, so 3-0. All of these records are entered into, documents are entered into the record.
Very good. That housekeeping done, we move on to preliminary motions. Do the parties anticipate filing any preliminary motions? We'll start with the proponents.
We do have a preliminary motion. I could submit it to this board at this time. Here's the original.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
It's bound to happen with all these cords up here. No worries.
I'm sorry that I disturbed your.
You okay? And the objector, do you have any preliminary motions you anticipate to file? Other than, obviously, I would expect the board would consider time to respond to the motion you just received, but do you plan on filing any motions of your own?
We do not.
Very good. Let's see. Yes.
As the board is, as we're reviewing this motion, can we have the proponent maybe walk us through what he filed here?
Typically, in my experience, we would set some briefing schedule on this motion, and set a hearing date for that kind of argument. Not to cut off the presentation of what's in the motion, but I think it would be sensible having a fully briefed motion for the board to consider. Then the board's had an opportunity to read it, ask questions, and we do that once instead of multiple times, as a kind of judicial economy kind of approach. But
I beg to differ. Before you can even begin to hear the objection must comply with Illinois election law. That's what this motion is about.
Right.
This is a motion to dismiss the objection.
I agree.
For failure to follow the law. And that's exactly what we've recited here. There are several cases, appellate court cases, that hold if the objectors don't comply with all the rules of objection, then it must be dismissed by the electoral board. And that's really why, before we even begin, this board ought to address this issue.
sure.
The objection fails on its face.
And I'm sure that's what your motion says, and I'm sure that the other side would like an opportunity to respond in writing. And these are expedited proceedings, and so I expect we will set a short hearing date. I expect the board will consider a short hearing date and short briefing schedules on this motion. And we'll take. Per your suggestion, we'll take the motions in order. The motion to dismiss will be first. That's what the rules say. So, were the
Objectors?
objectors planning on should the objection survive the motion to dismiss? Were the objectors planning on filing any briefs in support of their objection, seeing as how the objection presents purely legal issues? I don't expect that there's going to be a records exam. I don't expect that there's going to be an evidentiary hearing. Were you planning on filing any briefs in support of your objection?
No.
Okay. So let's set a briefing schedule on the motion to dismiss.
Mayor Haggerty, Chairman, I would ask that if there's no objection from the objectors, that we do hear the motion to dismiss and to help expedite.
Well, I'm just, again, I'd like Alderman Rainey's thoughts as someone who's been through many of these electoral boards. But again, just thinking back to the last one that we went through on the Harley Clark referendum, if I recall correctly, we had the same thing. We basically had an initial meeting like this, received, a motion to dismiss at that one. basically gave the other party, in that case, an opportunity to take the time to read this motion, okay? And then we set another date, and then they came, and we had all motions that anyone was filing.
That's actually how I recall it. May I speak?
Sure.
Okay, I recall that there were three objections, and the first one was heard on, I think it was August 9th, and it was, like, the whole process happened in one night or
Yeah.
day. And then in the second date, which was August 20-something, both objections were heard and finished in that evening, and there was a motion to dismiss, and it was handled that night.
Okay.
That was
Is that
my
your
recollection, because there's one objection, there are three objections there she mentioned, and there's one that was at its face value prima facie, didn't meet the requirements because it failed to list, I think, the address
Yeah.
of the objector. I don't know if this is something that will be handled in the same way, but I do think it could be beneficial to at least hear
But
from.
if I remember correctly, though, on that one, didn't we also get any motions before the meeting, so each party had a chance to look at the motion?
Nope. I don't believe so.
I
I
thought
don't
we-
recall.
I thought we did, but I thought we only, if I remember right, got it about an hour before, because I remember
Maybe,
thinking,
yeah.
I did not have time to really read this or understand this. Again, I care about fairness, and I care about people having the opportunity to, read documents, to respond properly to documents. And this could go either way. Again, you guys, no idea what your plans are, but if you opted and said, no, we want to file some kind of motion, I would want the petitioners to have an adequate amount of time to review it. Again, I think that from what I'm understanding from our council, this is pretty standard protocol and procedures. I don't think we are disadvantaging anyone by doing it, as long as, again, we expedite this and do this quickly, because I know there's certain time in which all of this needs to be taken
Yeah.
care
That-
of.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yes, that has been my experience. We're talking about 24, 48-hour briefing schedules, nothing extensive. I don't know if the clerk had something to say.
Okay. All right. Alderman Rainey, did you have anything you wanted to add to this conversation?
Well, it's 5 pages of the reasons why this is an inadequate objection, and I haven't read 5 words of it, and
So why don't
I
we?
couldn't possibly make a decision.
Sure.
Our motion speaks for itself. We don't need to brief it. It speaks for itself. The
But how do I-
objectors have not complied with the laws of Illinois to file an objection.
Okay.
So say you.
In that, you can waive a reply, and that would be helpful.
Well, if there's a response, then we wouldn't wait. I would definitely want to reply.
Okay.
But this is our brief. right
Okay.
here.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for bringing it today.
We would like to respond.
Okay.
And I anticipate, with quick conference with my co-objectors, that the response will be that our interest in the case is in the first sentence of our objection, which is as Evanston residents and registered voters. And that is our interest.
Okay.
We would be happy to provide a written response to the motion to dismiss our objection.
Sure. When are we available to come back and argue this, and we can set a briefing schedule based on that?
How about next Wednesday?
That's not 20.
Perfect.
It has to be sooner than
Wednesday,
that. I think it-
I would agree to Wednesday.
I mean, I'm just thinking, we got city council meeting on, today's Thursday.
Yes.
We've got city council meeting on Monday.
I cannot on Tuesday.
You cannot attend on Tuesday. If people can attend on Wednesday, let's see if Wednesday
First
works.
thing Wednesday morning? I could do that.
I work the day job.
We
So
all
do I.
work. We all work.
Right.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. I mean, I think this, just because of part of what we have to account for is that the county has to print the ballots, and the clerk's office has sent off this referendum to the county, and so these are typically expedited, so I think sooner than a week from now it would be.
Don't we have to properly notice these meetings or not?
These are, I don't,
Continuous.
yeah.
You
You're
can
in-
adjourn or recess, which I know.
I guess the question is, I did hear the objectors say tomorrow is potentially, were you just joking, or were you?
No.
No, okay, well then,
all three of us cannot, it appears, but
Okay, so all three of you cannot do tomorrow?
cannot do tomorrow.
All right.
But I think that would be all right if all three of us weren't here, as long as that didn't disqualify us as objectors. If we didn't, all three of us attend every.
It wouldn't disqualify, as long as one of the folks from the group are here, or a representative, an attorney is here, then you were represented.
Is that, let me just confirm with our counsel, is that correct? They don't all three have to be here?
No. No, they don't.
No.
I mean, obviously, we don't want to prejudice them, but if they're fine with it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be without an objector tomorrow.
Okay,
Evening.
right.
Yeah,
I mean, the petitioner has to work in the day, she said, so she couldn't be here.
Well, tomorrow evening,
Tomorrow
Governor
evening.
Quinn, yeah.
Saturday.
We can give up our Friday nights and come have fun with the Electoral Board.
There's no place I'd rather be.
I didn't follow.
Alderman Rainey?
What time do you get off of work?
When would you be doing this?
Let's,
Mr. Chairman,
Four
my
is-
client gets off of work at 4, so if it's more convenient to do in the latter part of the afternoon, as long as that works with the objectors, we'd
Okay.
be happy to come.
Right. Okay.
They can respond. We already heard what their response is.
Okay.
I see. Okay, okay. So I guess the concern that legal counsel was just articulating was given if we did it tomorrow evening, is that adequate time that, how quickly can you turn around sort of any argument you have to this motion that they have filed, and does it give enough time to the folks up here to have a chance to look at both of these motions?
I will note, do not believe that their response has to be written. I believe they can provide oral argument. I'll just confirm that with counsel. If that would be a barrier, if you had to write a 5-page document.
This is our council.
The
This is our council.
Sure.
Thank you. Betty reminds me that it's hard to know until we've had a chance to read it.
Yes.
To know what our response will be and how extensive it will be. So
Okay.
at first glance, it appears pretty easy to respond that our interest in this objection is as Evanston voters and Evanston residents, and that should be sufficient interest to object to a petition. But I need to read this, we need to take a look, we need to process this a little bit and then provide a response.
So
Can we do Monday at all then?
No, council meeting Monday.
Because we have council on
during the
Monday.
day?
We have, well,
And
again,
Ally,
I'm just
if
thinking.
Governor Quinn has to be here to represent you, then maybe that's.
Can we do it tomorrow? I mean, it sounded like the objectors need some time, but we're prepared to come tomorrow. As you have pointed out, the ballots are being processed right now because of early voting and such. So it's much more important to expedite things.
I just personally, I mean, I understand people talking about, I just want to make sure, again, in fairness, and people have enough time to look at these and respond to these. I would say at the earliest would be Monday. For me, again, we have the city council meeting that evening, and you have committees.
970-some pages for Monday night.
So then it would bump it. Then I don't know if we could do Tuesday if you can't do Monday. What?
I am absolutely
Okay,
unavailable
you're
on
unavailable
Tuesday
on Tuesday, and so then
due
it would
to
push
a
it.
Work obligation.
Okay, and then it would push it to Wednesday then.
How about Saturday?
Weekends, yeah, Saturday. If that is, again, enough time for,
Again, it's a tough time, and I am going to be in Palos Hills all day on Saturday for
Okay.
work.
Is there
Sundays.
any way the objectors could come tomorrow at any time?
I think what I'm hearing from some of the objectors is that they,
The
okay.
people are being asked questions, and we're answering them for them. Could
Right.
we let
Okay.
whoever's being asked
So-
a question answer them?
Let's start with objectors. Are you comfortable and available if we set the meeting for tomorrow, late tomorrow? I understanding that all three of you may not be able to be here, as you mentioned earlier.
I think we'd like a little longer than less than 24 hours to look at the objection to prepare a response.
Okay. All right.
Unless the proponent wants to withdraw the motion, and then we can proceed.
No, we have no intention of withdrawing the motion.
Okay. Okay. And then Monday committee here's the problem with Monday. Monday, as Alderman Rainey said, Monday committee meetings for council members start at 6 o'clock. So even, I'm worried if we set this at 4 o'clock on Monday, I don't know how long this meeting is going to run and everything else.
I have a really important meeting with St. Francis board meeting that I'm required to attend on Monday at 11 o'clock in the morning. That'll probably go till about 2. And that just,
Okay.
any
All right.
re-preparing for council, just
Okay.
totally out of the question.
How does Wednesday at
Perfect.
at 4:30 or 5 o'clock work
Or at 7 o'clock in the morning. I mean, anytime on Wednesday.
for a petitioner and objector?
I prefer 4 PM instead.
I think the earliest I could get here would be 5:30
Okay.
Anytime.
on Wednesday.
All right. What if we set this meeting for 6 p.m. Wednesday, the 15th? And then, council, if you could just set out a schedule then for any written petitions that parties need to provide and make sure they get to themselves and to the board.
Let's let the printer know not to print this yet. Hold the presses.
I will just note that because we're pushing the next hearing back to Wednesday, from that point on, we will have to have a very expedited
massive.
process, yeah. Right.
Okay.
Let's see.
Because yeah.
Okay, council.
Yeah. I don't want to, we want to invite any more motions. So, let's see, if we get that. All right. Why don't we do responses by Saturday at 5, and any replies by Monday at 5, and then we'll be back here on Wednesday at 6.
So Monday, 5 p.m., any response to this motion to dismiss?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. Saturday at 5
Saturday at 5.
is for
Is-
responses. Any reply?
Any reply to this motion to dismiss?
Yeah, it's Monday at 5.
If I may
You just
ask,
said Saturday.
Mr. Boylan, how should we submit or file our response to the motion to dismiss?
You can,
To whom should we submit it? And will someone be there for the duration on Saturday?
electronic.
Mr.
Sure.
Boylan?
Electronic service, you should have a copy of the proponent's appearance, and you should serve it on the law department as provided in the rules, and you should serve it on me. And I'll give you all my card.
That's by email.
It's all email
Electronic
service.
service by email. Thank
Yes.
you.
So they're providing it to you, and then you're distributing it
Yes.
to the board
So
and the parties. Okay. Okay, go over the dates again, because I want to make sure everybody's clear, because I've heard Monday, 5 p.m., and then Saturday, 5
Sure,
p.m.
we have a motion from the proponents. The objectors will file a response by Saturday at 5. And any reply from the objector in support of their motion will be due Monday at 5.
You mean proponents?
Petitioners then will have, by Monday at 5, they have to, if they want to respond to their motion or their, right? Okay. All right. What about, is there any other?
make sense?
Yes.
If folks.
The hearing is 6 o'clock on Wednesday?
Yes.
6 p.m. Wednesday. Let me just, one more thing. And the, what if either party, I don't want to come on Wednesday and find that people want to file more motions. So can we clarify that, council, and just make sure that the parties understand any rules there if they want to file additional motions or anything?
Sure. The expectation is that the preliminary motions, the objectors aren't planning to file any. Should there be any additional motions whatsoever, that deadline should be, any further motions should be filed by Saturday at 5.
Okay.
And any responses to those motions Monday at 5, same.
Okay, same schedule.
And replies are disfavored.
Okay, but everybody understands that, so if you wanted to file, or you guys wanted to file another one, you got to file it by 5 p.m. on Saturday, and then response to that is 5 p.m. by Monday. Alderman Rainey.
Just want to know, when does the board receive information? All the information that's been filed?
Okay. So when these motions are filed and responses to motions, when will the board receive it, so we have adequate time to review it?
We will circulate those.
And when can the board, if you're getting the you're getting the Monday by 5 p.m., you're getting those, when do you anticipate that the parties would receive, the counterparties' written documents as well as the board?
The board, under the rules, the parties serve the law department and myself.
Okay.
And we will share those with the board.
Right away, you're saying? Okay, all right, so we should get those by Monday evening.
Yeah, and just to clarify, because I've heard this a few times for the objectors, you do have to service them directly. So you're not just sending it to us and then we're distributing it to the petitioner. You have to serve the petitioner directly.
That's right.
And just to clarify, too, it is sufficient for us to serve you, Governor Quinn, at the email address on your card, without
Email service is preferred here.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Given the situation, so.
Right, and you're representing Ms. Harned, so we do
Yes.
not need to serve Ally
No.
separately. Thank you.
And I just want to clarify, if we serve our reply to the special counsel, that suffices to serve the 3 members of the electoral board?
Yes, I'll
Then
accept
you'll
service.
just-
I'll accept service for the board. Yeah.
Okay.
I
So we-
think that's what's in the rules.
And then we would serve our reply to the objectors, but I don't know whether I have any cards from the objectors on what their email is.
I think
That
you
should be in
can
the
get a
service
copy of your
document.
appearances.
I'll circulate everybody's appearances.
Okay.
The appearances that I received, I'll circulate those to everyone to make things easier and so we don't have to run to a copy machine or something.
Yes.
Okay.
And that way you'll have my service information.
Okay. All right, council, anything else? We've taken care of the dates. Everybody understands how we're moving forward. Anything else that you have?
Nothing on this case.
Okay.
But we do need to have public comment.
Yep,
but
we'll
with the
do that.
understanding that that's not part of the record.
Correct. I'll make sure that's clear. Okay. Clerk Reader, Alderman Rainey, you have anything at this point? Okay. All right. So this is, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is a public hearing. There is an opportunity right now if the public would like to get up and share anything. They may, but it doesn't get entered into the record. Ultimately, the decision that is made by this board is based on the arguments made by both of these parties.
Let's go.
Yes.
Move to dismiss.
Okay. If you just wanted to state your name, Karen, for the record, and,
Well, not for the record.
or it's not really for the record, I guess. There's no record of any of this.
Yeah.
Everyone knows I'm Karen Portman, and I only have a question for the special counsel and clerk.
I'm sorry, can I get your name again, please?
No record.
Karen
All right, he said.
C-O-U-R-T-R-I-T-H. And I have a question for the special counsel and city clerk. Will these documents be available online after they are circulated to the board? The motion, the response, the reply?
Yes, I will make that available as long as we will make that available online. I'll make sure that that is something that is done.
We presume neither party has an objection to
It
that
is,
or
yeah.
issue with that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Ally?
Yeah, I just want to say, thank you all for coming to support Evanston Voter Initiative. We believe that it is in the interest of Evanston voters to be able to vote on this, that ballot access is really a substantial right, and that 3,871 people have an interest in this being on the ballot. So I hope that that will be considered when writing a response. And it's really been an inspiring process, actually, to be a part of this, because we've had hundreds, well, thousands of conversations with people who are really interested in this process being in place so that it can add to the legislative process in Evanston. We're not trying to take away representative government. We are adding to it. So I look forward to this process and this being on the ballot in March.
Thank you, Ally. Trish? Good. If you want to introduce yourself, yeah.
I have a question for the Electoral Board, and that is, based on the motion that was presented about the validity of the objection, I'm wondering, as a voter in this process, why can that not be determined here and now, being that everybody's come out and we're trying to figure this thing out for both sides of the people here?
If I can.
Sure.
I think the reason is we want to give the objectors the process to be fair to everyone. We want to make sure that the objectors have an opportunity to read through this and respond to it in a meaningful way. And while this process is expedited, because of, we have a deadline, we have an election on March 17th, we have early voting that starts 2 weeks before that, but we do want to make sure that we give everyone a fair opportunity to, weigh whether or not the petition itself is legal.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Yeah, Elliot?
Is the election board a judicial body? I mean, it sounds as if the members of the election board will now have to make a decision about the law and whether the arguments made by either of the parties is the one that's most consistent with the law. So that is a judicial function, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a hearing board. This is a hearing board, and this is a hearing board, and it's composed of 3 people. I'll tell you right now, right? None of us are lawyers, and we're going to hear arguments. We're going to hear arguments that are made. We have counsel certainly here to help the board, but at the end of the day, right, the board's going to take a vote on this matter. If that vote were to be either way, if that vote were to be, okay, this is legitimate, it can stay on the ballot, the objector has, the opportunity to file to the circuit court, okay, and then that's more of a legal institution, or vice versa. If it went the other way, the petitioners could also file to the circuit court, as I understand it.
And just for, I think, everyone's edification, maybe counsel, can you maybe walk us through what the process looks like after this hearing? Is that something if someone's dissatisfied and what the timelines are?
Sure. There's a procedure when the board makes a final decision, it'll be in writing, and there's a period of time, a short period of time.
5 days, I believe.
Right, to petition for judicial review from any decision that this board makes.
And could you point out also that every governmental unit has an electoral board that deals with any objections or questions regarding anything that's to go on the ballot that's objected to?
Right, this isn't unique to Evanston.
No, it's not. County has it, state has, everybody has it.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Yes, if you stand up and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm just curious why.
Can you state your name?
My name is Sharon Coley. I'm asking someone else's question. I'm just curious why the materials, if this is an expedited issue, why the materials weren't distributed to the parties before the meeting. Motion.
We just saw them tonight.
Yeah, we just saw them tonight too. I think everybody. This meeting was. I received it this weekend. I set the meeting on Monday. This is all moving really quickly. So I think that's probably just the reason that it didn't get delivered beforehand. But you raise a good point, because it would have been, I suppose if everybody had been legally served this document and the other parties, but the way it sort of works around there is they have this initial meeting, they set up sort of all the procedures, they agree to the ground rules and set schedules, and that's what was done this evening.
And if I can also note, prior to the parties exchanging their appearance forms, you didn't have, potentially Governor Quinn, I don't think, just had the email addresses for the 3 objectors, and vice versa, the objectors didn't have direct. So this, while it is expedited, this is the first, this is the beginning of the process.
Clerk Reed and Mayor, I don't believe the board comes into existence until tonight, when you actually came together. So anything prior to that would not have any validity until there is an actual calling of the electoral board. And we're all here together. And look forward to doing it again next week.
So thank you. It'll be a much meatier meeting next week. I promise everybody. Oh, okay. Well, thank you everybody for coming out. Thanks to both parties. Is there a motion to adjourn? Oh, excuse me for 1 second.
If there's a motion, I would consider a motion to recess, and then can I see the parties afterwards for some paperwork, housekeeping stuff off the record?
Motion to recess until Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Is there a second to that?
This is already. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So the objection, Alderman Rainey is asking, as other folks have for this, the motion to dismiss the objection to be placed online as well. So there is on the city's website a page dedicated to the Evanston Electoral Board. So all of this information, I will guarantee that within 24 hours of the board receiving it, will be posted online.
Okay. Thank you. So there was a motion to recess. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor to recess till Wednesday at 6 p.m. Aye. All right. We'll see you all then. Thank you for coming out.